Dust hung in the summer air above the Fair Park Arena. A fine, glittering mist kicked from sawdust, pulverized cheap feed, and the restless hooves of beings that were more than livestock. Dallas neon bled through the stadium's open roof, turning the haze violet, and the crowd's hollow banners fluttered like ghostly ribbons, projecting brand logos and hashtags to the balconies. On the scoreboard, the next rider's name pulsed in augmented red. Danny Ramirez. Rookie qualifier, 0 PTS. Danny stood behind the chute gate, stroking the inside of her left forearm where the AI implant lay nested beneath skin and graphene mesh. Nerves, not just her own, but a static buzz of wireless frequencies prickled at the contact point. She scrolled the feed running across her retinal display. Humidity 64%, barometric pressure dropping 31,000 mobiles within a kilometre, and, strangest of all, a flare of interference radiating from the bullpen. "First time you ride a spirit bull in Dallas," drawled Elijah Brackets, the stock contractor whose family had provided bulls here since the arena was ploughed out of prairie sod. "Keep your tech calm. They feel a kernel panic same as they feel a spooked heartbeat." He was a rangy man with a white Stetson, a transparent sleeve of old-school data cords woven like tattoos up his wrist. A lifetime ago, Elijah had been Dunny's mother's traveling partner on the Southern Circuit. He had visited the ranch after the accident, told Danya's stories while she learned to walk again, and shipped her the litter of drover's mutt that kept her sane during recovery. When her rehab therapists offered the military-grade neural kit to rebuild her shattered motor pathways, Elijah wrote the letter of recommendation. Now he scanned the bullpen with unease. The bull inside chute 6 shimmered literally. Blue motes, pixelated like corrupted AR overlays, crawled across its hide. The animal's muscles bunching beneath the distortion looked bulky enough to bench press a diesel truck. "That's Cimarron," Elijah said. "Was quiet until yesterday. Overnight, City's network says different. Every smart fridge in Deep Ellum beeps in X sharp when that bull breathes." Danny exhaled. "You're telling me the spirit went viral?" "Not viral. Glitched." Elijah touched the brim of his hat. "Prairie spirit's been using our stock for 200 years, long before cell towers. They speak wind, grass, thunder. But Cimarrons picked up our chatter, started spitting packets back." Behind Elijah, stock hands murmured over tablets showing dashboards of unexplained pings. Garbled ride scores, ghost orders for meal kits, a stampede of emoji galloping through social feed. Somebody had posted a shaky video, Cimarron snorting, and the stadium's LED banners spasming into 8-bit prairie storms. Danny closed her eyes and asked the implant nicknamed Jacaranda after her mother's favorite tree for an audio profile, a surge of metallic screeches threaded with something older. The moan of wind over buffalo grass filled her inner ear. The dissonance made her temples throb. "The board's giving me the draw," she said. "You sure nobody else wants to ride that mess?" "We tried," Elijah replied. 3 riders scratched after warm-ups. Cimarron threw a veteran onto the railman, says he heard text-to-speech chanting inside his skull while he flew. Elijah's brown eyes fixed on Danny's. "Rodeo committee's worried. Dallas mayor's worried. They need someone who can talk code and tradition." Danny ran a thumb over the scarring on her forearm, jagged, lightning white where steel and bone had once collided. She felt a flicker of vertigo, but Jacaranda damped it with a pulse of serotonin. "If the spirit is lost," she said, "wrangling won't help. I'll need to sink." Elijah swallowed. "Sinking with a glitching spirit might brick your wetware." "Or I calm him," Danny answered, "and grandparents can watch the rest of tonight's show without their pacemakers misfiring." The whistle blew. 2 minutes to gate. The arena lights dimmed, except for a single cone spotlight on chute 6. Camera drones hovered, updating millions of livestream viewers. The broadcast commentators, one old cowboy, one viral esports host, bantered about Danny's military medical discharge, her record on the amateur circuit, her rumored cyber bull juju. Hashtags bloomed. Robo-Rider, Spirit Ball, Dallas Showdown. Dani stepped onto the chute railing. Her boots, printed with Talavera patterns, scuffed the steel, and she felt the bull's kinetic energy vibrate the bars like subwoofer bass. Through the gaps she saw eyes reflecting an inner storm, swirling pixel noise haunting deep brown irises. She lowered a gloved hand. Easy, compañera. The old tradition. Speak to the bull as though to a dance partner. The new. Transmit a handshake protocol. She did both. The words out loud, the code whispered through ultra-wideband. Jacaranda converted neural impulses into charms of electromagnetic hum. Frequency stacks older than radio wind frequencies. No, older. Frequencies of crickets, of rattlesnake tails. The bull stiffened. The blue motes flickered. Dani swung down into the chute. She smelled cedar goop, machine oil, and something faintly sweet. Prairie clover impossible inside a modern arena. She tied her gloved hand into the braided bull rope, snugged rosin sticky cords across her palm, and let the tail wrap over her wrist. The gate judge leaned over. You call ready, rookie. Dani glanced at Elijah. The old cowboy gave a single nod. She inhaled the mixture of dust and aftershave and hush of 30,000 spectators. She thought of her mother, who had whispered during night drives that bulls were cathedrals on four legs, and each ride was a prayer flung at the stars. Ready, Daniel declared. The gate clanged. Cimarron erupted like a tornado breaking ground. The bull pivoted, sunfished, kicked vertical. The first jolt compressed Daniel's spine, steel rods or not. Pain licked up nerves, but the implant throttled it down. Her free arm carved arcs, stabilizer. She counted beats. 1, that cosmic hang time. 2, shoulders snapping forward. 3, right horn nearly scraping the dirt as Cimarron spun. Inside her skull, noise, bursts of binary thunder, file not found errors, plus a low harmonic of prairie wind. The bull was broadcasting, still each jerk of muscle, a spasm of malformed data. Somewhere in downtown, traffic lights probably flipped to disco mode. She needed 8 seconds for a qualified ride, but calming the spirit mattered more. If he bucked her early yet regained himself, she would call it a victory. If he stayed cursed, Dallas Tech might go haywire for days. Jacaranda opened diagnostic overlays. Corrupted packets flagged in crimson, shooting out radiating rings. Dani modified the handshake, weaving in a snippet of code her abuela used to sing as lullaby in binary form, but with the minor key cadence preserved. She let the system pulse it via the rope, skin contact, voice. Torito, Torito, Duem Yem. She crooned aloud between clenched teeth while the bull angled toward the fence. Something shifted. The blue glitches across Cimarron's hide quivered like static on old television resolving into picture. Dani glimpsed patches of normal chestnut hide. The monstrous twisting lessened fractionally, but enough for her senses to register decreased torque. She was still aboard at 5 seconds. Broadcast drones whirred close, commentary echoed. Never seen stabilization mid-ride, look at those metrics. But the interference fought back. Cimarron bawled, and an octet of shrieking lures flashed in her display. Unknown external pings horned in through civilian channels. People's phones trying to live stream, send emojis, hijacking bandwidth. Every tag, every cheer fed the chaos. Dani realized. The spirit's mind was drowning in human noise. She had to give it silence. Jacaranda, kill all external links, she subvocalized. Hardshell me and the bull. Warning, the AI answered inside her inner ear. Isolation risks emergency support and vital sign telemetry. Do it. A sheath of algorithmic hush descended. Her HUD windows folded shut, leaving only a soft grayscale feed. Heart rate, oxygen, bull's motion predictions. A microcosm of 2 beings, 7 seconds. The bull stumbled, not a buck, but a arrested motion as though listening. Electricity prickled through Danny's ribs and rope arm, a heartbeat louder than the crowd's roar. In the stillness, she heard a different sound. Spring peepers. The chirp of insects out by the Trinity riverbanks, a lull she remembered from a childhood campout. Cimarron's back, once quaking wrath, felt like a hillside breathing. He sensed what the spirit felt, an ache, confusion, hunger for wind across tall grass not grown here since highways flattened the field. She could grant a taste. Danny closed her eyes, trusting muscle memory for balance, and asked Jacaranda to render. A memory of prairie noon, stored from an old VR heritage project. But instead of projecting to retina, she broadcast inward along the rope, as combinatory scent, tone, and neural shorthand for sun warmth. 8 seconds hit. The buzzer blared. She could have ejected now, scored her points, but Cimarron still coiled. A digital ember glowed at the base of his spine, last fragment of corruption. She stayed tied. The pickup rider astride a paint horse galloped near to peel her off. Danny waved him back. Gasps crackled from stands and commentators sputtered. 9 seconds. Cimarron halted at arena center, hooves stilled, head low. Blue motes lifted from his shoulders, drifted like rising sparks, then evaporated. The scoreboard's data feed, once a scramble, resolved. BPM normal, RFID tags readable, no outgoing interference. 10 seconds. Danny popped her hand free, swung her leg, and slid off. The bull stood calm, sides heaving. She patted the massive neck. For an instant, she saw not an animal but the silhouette of an ancient man with sweeping grass for hair, eyes like crow feathers, tattooed with storms. He nodded thanks, then melted back into bull flesh. The arena erupted. Spectators who had watched their devices freeze during ride now saw screens snap normal. Hollow banners stabilized. Danny's earpiece reactivated, Jacaranda reconnecting to net. Spirit stabilized Dallas grid nominal, the AI reported. Officials rushed. A judge affixed a digital sticker to Danny's vest. Qualified ride, record 10.03 sec. Cameras spun for interviews, but she excused herself, waving bloody glove rope burn through leather to Elijah. Back under the stands, she collapsed on an overturned feed bucket. Elijah arrived with a bottle of water and the smirk of a man whose barbed prayers got answered. "Y'all turned a meltdown into a lullaby," he said. "City engineers say the anomalies sank right when you sang your mama's song." Danny wiped sweat. I just reminded him of quiet places. He'd forgotten his own language. Elijah crouched. "Spirits will keep forgetting as our chatter grows. We'll need riders who speak both tongues. That why you pushed my application?" "That, and 'cause your mama told me once the prairie would choose its messenger when the code got loud enough." He reached into his vest, pulled a patch embroidered with the curved horn logo of his family's top-tier riders, Nightstorm Crew. He set it on her knee. "You ready to carry on?" Danny fingered the stitching. "If I join, we change the protocols. Next-gen bulls get shielding, and riders get training in the old songs," he chuckled. "You got seniority after tonight. Write whatever manual you want." A tremor pulsed in her implant. A proximity notification. Cimarron had been walked down the alleyway toward pins, but now the bull approached quietly, escorted by a handler. Where his glitching aura had been, faint specks of green hovered, sprouts of digital grass. The handler stopped 10 paces back, wary. The bull's eyes found Danny. She stood. Between them hung the hush of sunset prairie. Cimarron dipped his head, horns sweeping dust. Danny stepped forward, laid a palm to the broad forehead. The spirit inside sent a ripple. Gratitude, yes, but also a request. "What's he saying?" Elijah asked. "That the tall grass he remembers is gone," Danny replied. "He wants us to grow it again, at least a patch, so he and the others can graze between shows." Elijah looked away, blinking. "City zoning board'll how?" "They'll listen," Danny said, feeling the implant sync with purpose. "I'll make sure of it." Later that night, a press conference unfolded under floodlights. Reporters lobbed questions about cyber safety, rodeo relevance, and whether Danny's implants gave unfair advantage. She answered patient, explaining symbiosis, not supremacy. The tech doesn't tame the spirit, it translates. Tradition is the firmware. AI is the plug-in, one skeptic shouted. What stops the next bull from hijacking the grid again? Respect, Johnny answered. Steady. And maybe a little prairie grass. The mayor seized that line for a city sustainability pitch. Tech firms volunteered IoT calibrations, ag schools offered native seed. What stuck in public consciousness was the image of a cyber-enhanced cowgirl singing to a spectral bull, while Dallas flickered like a damaged screen, and then over weeks a swath of unused rail yard behind Fair Park became the Trinity Tallgrass Preserve. Volunteers replaced ballast with soil. Seed drones dropped bluestem, switchgrass, Indian paintbrush, coneflower. Cimarron and other stock were led there at dawns, hooves rustling dew-damp growth under skyscraper silhouettes. During the next rodeo weekend, Danny rode a different bull copper sky and scored a clean 9, but the bigger show happened beyond cameras. She walked alongside Cimarron in the preserve's half-grown grass. Devices stayed muted. The city's skyline hummed, but not so loudly that one couldn't hear cicadas. Cimarron breathed deep, flanks swelling, and the spirit dispersed like pollen into the blades, whispering histories of buffalo migrations, Comanche thunder, dust storms that carved empathy into those who survived. Danny felt every whisper through her implants, but she also felt it the old way, in bones, in ground. She removed her hat, letting hot wind lash sweat-damp hair, and smiled. The bridge between tech and tradition wasn't steel or code or rope, it was listening. She knelt, pressed a palm to yielding earth, and sent a promise through silicon and blood alike. We will keep the quiet places alive, even here, even now. Somewhere in the tall grass, a chorus of smart devices, set intentionally to sleep mode, stayed silent out of reverence. And above them rose the lowing of a content bull and the subtle susurrus of a reborn prairie, carrying forward on the wind that had never once forgotten its own name.